people came to America from England. William Melton came to Virginia. He was a bond servant. He had to fulfill 7 years of working and labor for his freedom in America. But first, let me tell you where he came from. My grandfather, so many generations back, was the caretaker of the king's shut-over forest. It was the forest that the king kept to feed the royal houses of Stanton-Saint John. This was in the 1100s during the reign of William II, who was otherwise known as William Rufus. The Rufus coming in because he was of red hair. My grandfather was the overseer of the shut-over forest, securing animals, wild game for the royal houses at Stanton-Saint John. And the firewood, they carried it all the way by carts to London sometimes. That would have had to have been a long trip because it's 45 miles one way. My grandfather was a constable under King William II. As a keeper of the land, it was also his job to catch poachers and deal with them accordingly. And he had a lot of responsibility. My grandfather's name was John Melton, and he was a descendant of Sawate de Meltona from the Northland. I guess you could say he was a Viking. My grandfather's great-grandson, also named John, wanted to go to school, and he learned a new religion, something that his father didn't believe in, so he got kicked out of the house, and his funds were cut off. But he didn't want to be anything but a scrivener, so he became known as John the Scrivener, and he moved to London on Bread Street. And his son was the famous poet Milton. Nicholas of Melton, son William Melton. William Melton was Archbishop of York from 1315 to 1340. He held that position for 25 years under two kings of England, King Edward II and King Edward III. This is the church of St. John the Baptist in Stanton-Saint John in Oxford, England, that my relatives had ties to way back in the 1100s through the 1400s, and they still do. First recording of William Melton in America was at Charles City, Virginia in 1638. William Melton was born in 1617, and he was under the charge of Colonel Edward Hill, and he had to work to pay his passage to America with Colonel James Hill. And it took him 7 years to do that. And then finally, he was his own free man. And then he could work for land, and he did. And then he went back to England and found a wife and married her and brought her to the New World. I studied my genealogy for 12 straight years. And it took me that long to find out about this family, the Melton family, And I had no idea that I was even related to such high notable people, because my family never told me any of this. My family has fought in every war that the United States has ever fought. It was like an Easter egg hunt. You never know what you might find. Try it in your family. Try to find your genealogy. Please like, subscribe, share this video. Be on the lookout for part 2 coming soon. The link to the book, and if you're serious about finding out your genealogy, I'll leave you some links in the description. Thank you, and all the best. I speak the Southern American English dialect, and I sound like a hillbilly.